Good evening. Welcome to our September meeting. I call this meeting of the Bastrop Independent School District to order. Let the record show that a quorum of board members is present, that this meeting has been duly called, and notice of this meeting has been posted in accordance with the Texas Open Meetings Act, Texas Government Code, Chapter 551. Before our prayer, we'll have our pledges. So please join me and stand. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. Remain standing, please. I'd like to ask Cliff Sparks to come up. He's with the Bastrop Christian Outreach Center. He's going to lead us in prayer tonight.
Let us pray. Lord, thank you for letting us be here together in peace, and thank you for the rain, and thank you for more that's coming. Lord, we just ask for your presence to be here amongst us. We proclaim your righteousness, peace, and joy here. I ask that your health and blessings of prosperity be in every family that's here and that this organization represents. Establish the works of their hands upon them, that they may have good success, O Lord. Let the hearts of the fathers be turned to the children, and the hearts of the children be turned to the fathers, so that you may continue to bless this place, and let every student that comes out of the works of the hands of these people be mighty in the earth to bring you glory. We thank you for all these things, and I say peace be unto you in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Thank you. Now I'd like to call Carter Gardner up. Carter is a third grader at Lost Pines Elementary. He's going to speak to us tonight on the character trait of honesty. Carter plays baseball. He's in PALS, GT student, enjoys church activities, and being with his family. He understands the importance of being safe, respectful, and responsible. Carter's got his parents with him, Matt and Melinda Gardner, and I'll add that Melinda is our assistant principal at Lost Pines Elementary. So Carter, the mic's all yours. You may want to take that mic off of there, Henry. And
Good evening, school board and guests. The definition of honesty is free from fraud or deception. An honest person is truthful, creditable, and praiseworthy. To me, honesty is telling the truth even when it is difficult. For example, if I make a bad choice, I still have to tell the truth even if I will get in trouble. A person of good character always finds a way to tell the truth. As William Shakespeare said, no legacy is so rich as honesty. I want my coaches, family, friends, and teachers to trust I will always be honest. I earn this trust by being truthful with them. As I close, I will leave you with words of wisdom by Benjamin Franklin. Remember, no matter what, honesty is the best policy. Thank you.
Thank you. Hang on a second, Carter. Hang on a second, Carter, before you run off. It's a special day, right? It's your birthday today, right? So I think what we want to do real quick before you leave, we're going to sing happy birthday to you. Is that okay? All right. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Carter. Happy birthday to you. All right. Hey, thank you, Carter. Thanks for representing Lost Pines Elementary. We appreciate you a lot. We're going to move on to our open forum. We have one speaker tonight. I'd like to call up Vera Preston Yeager.
Thank you for this opportunity to talk to you tonight. I would have been on the lawn of the Capitol today if I hadn't had a medical procedure that came first. But for almost 30 years, I have fought for strong science to be taught in the schools of Texas. And once again, it's a fight. And I want you all to know, and hopefully to insist that teaching students in the state of Texas as strong science education. I'm very proud of Bastrop School District for how well you're doing in teaching all students and teaching good science. I'm very proud of it, and I want it to continue. And hopefully people will be aware of what's going on and let the State Board of Education know that in order for students in the United States to compete in the global economy, we must have strong science. And thank you very much for all that you do.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Yeager. Now we're going to move on to our public hearing. Presenter is going to be Senator Callahan. Proposed tax rate.
Good evening, Board. We're here tonight to conduct our public hearing for the 2013-14 tax rate. As you recall, in August, the Board approved the tax rate to be published, which was published in the September 7th paper, to then be adopted tonight. So I have a presentation. Again, it's a public hearing. I don't know if you want to turn down the lights. It might be able to see it a little better. Our truth in taxation information required is to let you know that our 2012-13 tax rate was $1.48, $1.04 for M&O, maintenance and operations, and 44 cents for debt service rate. Our rollback rate for 2013-14 is 1.5056. Our effective tax rate is 1.4639. The rate we're proposing for 13-14 is M&O, maintenance and operation, $1.04, and our debt service tax rate, 42 cents. We're glad to be able to reduce that this year by 2 cents. Just a little history of our property value. You can see we've been on the rise. We had a little narrowing or leveling off because of the fires in 2012-13 and 13-14. But again, our property values have still increased, and we have had commercial property come in. And again, we could be a little better off without the fires, but we're still continuing on an upward pace. I always like to show our principal taxpayers, our top 10 taxpayers at the public hearing, to show you that those 10 taxpayers actually make up 17% of our total tax roll. Of course, the 2 power plants are our 2 top. We've had some new ones come in over the last year. So just like to show that to give you an idea of where we are in that area. And again, and talking about lowering the tax rate, and we've talked about refunding savings that we've done. I've just shown over the last 3 years the savings we've had. That also has had an effect on us being able to lower our tax rate. So I just wanted to keep that on the forefront as well. Total tax rate history, as you can see where we've been, due to where we were at one time and after tax compression, but we've been able to hold our tax rate level even with the bonds that we passed in 2007. Of course, our M&O tax rate is at $1.04. That's as high as it can go without tax rate or without voter approval. And see our tax rate history again has been level since the bonds, and again very proud to be able to reduce that by 2 cents this year. This is just a summary of our debt service revenue. Expenditures, I have actually our 12-13 actual to show where we ended the year. We actually had a $432,000 surplus, so we should end with this year during the audit about a $5.8 million fund balance, which is a good number to have for debt service. Again, our 13-14 budget that was approved, I'd always like to show that we have to have money in our fund balance for debt service to make our August payments before our taxes start coming in, and probably we will be seeing our tax statements out again in October like usual. This I just like to show the various taxes on home values, and you can see just the difference that it makes with the 2 cents change in the tax rate. Again, the proposed rate we're asking you to adopt this year is $1.46. In your there's motion language on 2A, and I'm not sure now with our online book, I don't think there's actually a page number, but in your on your tablet it's 2A, and there's actually motion language to adopt that tax rate. And since it is a public hearing, I'll be glad to answer any questions from the public or the board.
We're good.
Okay.
I'd like to make a motion that since this year's proposed tax rate does not exceed the effective tax rate, I move the board to adopt the tax rate of $1.04 for maintenance and operations and .421 for payment of principal and interest on debt for a total rate of 1.461 for the 2013-14 school year. That's a mouthful.
Okay. Thank you.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the 2013-2014 tax rate as presented at 1.461. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Now we'll move on to Ms. Pollard. She's going to do a public hearing on major curriculum initiatives.
I come tonight to share new statutory requirements for the adoption of major curriculum initiatives. On August the 27th, we received communication from Michael Williams, the Commissioner of Education, regarding a new law relating to the adoption of major curriculum initiatives, including curriculum management systems. Senate Bill 1474 was passed by the 83rd Texas Legislature, signed by the Governor, and became effective in June of 2013. A new process established under the Senate Bill 1474 seeks to balance transparency to local stakeholders with local control over how districts teach the required Texas essential knowledge and skills. It requires school districts to follow a new process to the adoption of any major curriculum, and before we do so, we have to gather input from both teachers and from district employees. During May of 2013, teachers gathered to do curriculum alignment and mapping with directors and specialists, and that's where we obtained input from teachers at that time. A district education improvement committee was held on September the 11th, where we continued to get input from both district and teachers and community members regarding 2 different ways that we support teachers with management systems. One of them is the Texas Essential Knowledge and Skills Resource System, formerly known as C-SCOPE, and the new one is Laying the Foundation, or National Math and Science Initiatives. We did the training for our 5 to 12 teachers this summer in professional development, which provides curriculum strategies, curriculum and strategies for both math, reading, ELA, and science. A local board is required to have a meeting, and we're required to have a public hearing to open up the opportunity for anyone to ask questions regarding our management system. And so if anyone has any questions at this time, I would be glad to answer those.
Good.
If not, I would ask the board to consider the approval of the adoption of the major curriculum initiatives of the TEKS resource system through the Texas Curriculum Management Program Cooperative at Region 13, as well as the curriculum resources and instructional strategies provided through Laying the Foundations, or NMSI, National Math and Science Initiative.
So moved.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the adoption of the major curriculum initiative of the TEKS resource system through the Texas Curriculum Management Program Cooperative at Region 13, as well as the curriculum resources, as well as the curriculum and instructional strategies provided through the Laying the Foundations National Math and Science Initiative group. All right? Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Janie.
Now we're going to have a technology update presented by John Cord.
Mr. Allen, members of the board, thank you for this opportunity to provide you with an update on the current state of technology in the district. I'm going to begin by showing you guys our organizational structure. The key item that I'd like you to get from this slide is that we are divided into 4 main working groups. Our operations team, which you'll see on the far left of your screen, our infrastructure team, our applications team, and then our instructional technology team. These teams are housed in 2 different locations throughout the district. One is here at Central Office. That's where our instruction, applications, and infrastructure team is located. And then operation is located in the science building behind Genesis High School. And that's where they manage and distribute all technology that comes in the district. Our funding for the technology department comes from 3 major sources. Local funds provides a significant amount, as well as E-rate. This is money that we receive from federal funding that we receive from your telecommunications bills. And then IMA, the instructional materials allotment, is our 3rd major funding source. You'll notice that E-rate and IMA are in different colors, and this is because these funds are not set at the beginning of our budget year, so they are constantly, we're unsure as to how much we'll receive at the beginning of our budget year. And with IMA, we usually have to discuss it. With E-rate, we have to wait on confirmation from the federal government that we're actually receiving those funds. We also have several other sources in which we seek out to provide funding for the technology department. The Texas Literacy Initiative last year provided almost $500,000 for devices and infrastructure improvement throughout the district, which was a big help. The Technology Lending Program grant we pursued last year provided $100,000 for devices so that we could lend them to students. And then BEF, of course, and other grants like BEF, programs like BEF provide small grants to our teachers. These are end-user devices usually that end up in the hands of the teachers. So lots of different funding sources that we seek out in order to provide for our students. I'd like to talk briefly about some ongoing initiatives in the district that maybe you guys might like to hear about. The first one is BYOT. The BYOT initiative, that's a Bring Your Own Technology initiative. We solidified some policy over the summer. It has now been placed into our student handbooks. We've created teacher guides and shared them with our teachers on how to implement BYOT. We have parent and community meetings scheduled for later on this month and early October to help the community understand our BYOT policies. Website and social media materials will be distributed. Potentially a Bastrop Advertiser article, if we're lucky. A communicator article has been put together, and we have also created campus signage so our campuses can spread the word to students and teachers through posters spread throughout the campus. Fund balance is another initiative that we are currently working on. You guys approved our fund balance monies in June, and I'm sure you'd like to hear how it's going. So we'll start with the Genesis High School. Genesis High School has received 52 new computers with the fund balance monies, as well as improvements to infrastructure. That's cabling, access points for the computers, and switches installed on that Bastrop High School West campus to facilitate the transfer of Genesis High School over to it. Gateway campus has also received 40 desktop computers along with the cabling and infrastructure to support that as well. This is a great improvement for Gateway so that there's less of a change for students that are in that discipline placement. As they move between campuses, they'll still have that access to technology that they need to stay on top of their studies. Video streaming. If you look around the boardroom tonight, you'll see 3 cameras. We're actually streaming the board meeting live, going out to the public. This is one of the projects that was in the fund balance. It's been implemented and initiated, and we're testing it out tonight. We also have video boards installed on our elementary campuses. With these video boards, they're still being completed, but we'll be able to distribute information from a centralized location to all our campuses so that parents and stakeholders can review as they come in and out of our campuses. Student laptop refresh. You'll notice that the number is 600 student laptops there. The original number was 450, and we combined it with some of our local funds, and the fund balance money with our local funds, and some of the money we got from selling our older devices or ineffective devices. And we were able to make it 600 devices, so provide more devices for our campuses, 100 for each of our intermediate through high school campuses. The teacher laptop refresh, $200,000 was allotted for that. We used that money to purchase 420 new teacher laptops. They were prioritized and handed out 2 weeks before, in the 2 weeks before school began. So a lot going on with the fund balance monies. We also have a current initiative that I'm very excited about. This is a blended learning initiative that's using those Chromebooks from the Technology Lending Program grant last year. The grant is complete after the year, but we still want to stick with the spirit of that grant and give our students access to those Chromebooks. So we have a few programs that we're utilizing them with. We're giving each one of our Quad C students a Chromebook to take home with them and to access and utilize as they see fit. We're also giving them to our libraries to lend out to students. And then we have an innovative classroom grants program that's going on that will allow teachers who have innovative ideas for the use of those Chromebooks to utilize them in their classroom. One key element of these initiatives, specifically the Quad C program, is this Atlas Homeroom online learning program. What we found is that our students, they're not getting a post-secondary experience of online learning. If you go to a college or if you go to an ACC, they usually use a program like Blackboard or Moodle to receive instruction. So they're responsible for posting online and interacting with other students via an online platform. Our students weren't getting exposure to this, so we felt that Quad C and that our seniors, you'll notice in the Atlas Homeroom piece there, our senior class will get exposure to this online learning platform so that when they do go to that post-secondary level, they'll be able to facilitate to transition into that type of learning situation very easily. So each one of these initiatives, our operations department plays a big part in making them come to being. So our operations group does a lot for us. You'll see that they take care of over 5,000 work tickets annually. They maintain an inventory of over 6,000 devices throughout the district. All hardware and software is managed through them. They do this with a ratio of 1 technician to every 2,000 users, which is impressive by all means. They also help us maintain a 1-to-1 teacher to device ratio. So each one of our teachers has a device, which they utilize, and our operations team helps keep that possible. District-wide, we have a 3-to-1 student device ratio. Two things that are very important on this slide that I'd like to point out is that each one of these devices is on a timeline from when we get it. They start depreciating in value much like a used car. So we have a time limit of about five years to get the most out of these devices before we have to exit them. Another thing to note, and some of you may already have, is that not all the campuses are 3-to-1 if you look up there. There's lots of reasons for this. Campus purchasing decisions, community donations to the campuses, receipt of grants on those campuses, the number of devices that are outdated and just not being used anymore on those campuses but are still in our inventory. and of course fluctuating populations on those campuses. So my job as your tech director moving forward is to hopefully provide some equity as we move forward and really reach that 3-to-1 number moving forward. So our operations team, their goal is to overall to make sure that those devices have as little downtime as possible, and we have as little a bad hardware issue has as little effect on instruction as possible. So our goals are always instructionally focused as we move forward. The next working group in our department that I'd like to talk a little bit more about is our infrastructure team. And you can look through through all the things that our infrastructure team does, but the big one there is the last one. They provide access to a world of knowledge for our students. Our infrastructure team provides us internet access. They provide us bandwidth. Without the infrastructure team, our students can't access research online. They can't access all the wonderful online tools that the internet brings us. Additionally, they can't do video conferencing and streaming activities where students can connect with experts outside of the Bastrop County area. So our infrastructure team, again, is instructionally focused in their goals. One of the things we're doing right now is we're moving from varied systems with coverage to unified systems with density. And let me just explain real quick what that means. A varied system, right now we have a lot of different equipment throughout the district that's providing our students access to the internet. That equipment doesn't always talk to each other. In addition to that, we have coverage on all our campuses, but we don't have density. So if you go to any campus right now, you can have access to the internet. But if I get 100 students in the gym, that access becomes clogged up, and we don't have the density of access points so that the students can access, all 100 of those students could access at the same time. So we want to move to unified systems, so all our systems talk to each other, and we have some of that density so that lots of kids can be online at the same time. Part of that goal is moving from our current status of 250 megabits per second, that's our bandwidth right now, and we would like to move to 1,000 megabits per second. This is a goal set by the State Education Technology Directors Association, which TEA is a part of, and they've set this goal because they see the demands of online instruction and testing really pushing districts throughout the state. The next working group in the technology department is the applications team. The applications team is responsible for providing 10,000 BISD users access to our network, and that actually includes the board members here. They have access to our network because of the applications team. The application teams provides support for 40 different district-designated instructionally focused applications. So when we're talking about the big pushes throughout our district, data-driven decision-making, response to intervention, meaning responding to students who are struggling, it's the applications team that manages this data and makes sure that it all gets the appropriate location, all those databases are sorted out, and everyone's receiving the right information. Last but certainly not least is our instructional working group. This is pre-K through 12 instructional technology support for all our teachers. They provide professional development. They work on STEM initiatives such as our robotics program. They provide parent and community education. And they implement a host of mandated state and federal technology initiatives. There are 2 people in the instructional technology department right now, and we've made some steps to utilize them as effectively as possible. They have weekly and bi-weekly meetings with our curriculum specialists, and you'll notice there's quite a few more curriculum and instructional specialists throughout the district. So we work with them with the idea that these specialists will become comfortable with integrating tech into the classroom, and as they go out to their PLCs on the different campuses, they will assist teachers in integrating technology more effectively. So we've taken 2 members and we've expanded them to include pretty much all of our instructional specialists in our planning. So what I'd like you to see is that the overall goal of the technology department is that all these teams work together with a focus on instruction, and that they do that to help students throughout the district. That is our goal, is that our students receive the best instruction possible. We definitely appreciate the board's help moving forward, moving our technology plans toward implementation. And I'd just like to thank you for this opportunity to speak to you. Are there any questions regarding my presentation?
Any questions for John? Very, very informative presentation. Appreciate it. Thanks, John.
Thanks.
Now we're going to move down to Parallel Pathways to Success Grant Program. Les Hudson, Nancy Roll, Martin Conradery.
Good evening, board members. I'm Martin Conrady, principal at Genesis High School, and the reason why I'm talking to you tonight is because our kids at Genesis High School are the primary benefactors of the work of Nancy Roll and Les Hudson in writing of the Parallel Pathways to Success grant. This grant was put out there to develop the workforce skills and access to college credit for students that were going to school in rural communities throughout Texas. And so that's kind of how we qualified for the grant. This year, we got $73,200. Next year, $11,620. So it'll be a total of $85,000 in the grant that was awarded to Bastrop Independent School District. And we're using this money in particular for two things. To purchase computers. I believe we have 75 computers that we purchased, and also to buy the certification assessment materials that the kids are going to be using inside the classroom at Genesis High School. Now, to make all this work, we had to shift some personnel around. We do have a CTE teacher, a career and technology education teacher at Genesis High School now. Kevin Well is that teacher. And we have pretty much dedicated his day to getting the kids, well, killing several birds with one stone, getting the kids through these certification programs, particularly the OSHA, and I've got it right here, the OSHA 10-hour general industry certification, and the Microsoft Office Suite certifications. I believe there's 4 or 5 different certifications that the kids can get in that program. What Kevin's doing is he is providing access to these programs through the BIM 1 course, where the kids are also going to have the chance to get college credit by taking BIM 1 through ACC. We have an articulation agreement with Austin Community College so that the kids can also get the college credit for this as well. Now, in addition to the certification and the computers, the kids are also going to be provided individual support on AccuPlacer, the AccuPlacer exam, or whatever test comes next. And the AccuPlacer exam is that exam that the kids take to verify their college readiness to take ACC courses, junior college courses for credit across the state of Texas. And they are also going to be working in career cruising with exploring career options, SAT and ACT prep. So this is a wonderful opportunity, $85,000 well spent for the kids in Bastrop Independent School District. And Les and Nancy, if I missed anything, please. Great job.
That's pretty cool. Thank you, Martin. Now we're going to have the Quad C presentation by our 2 high school principals, I believe.
As they come up, I just want to be able to have the opportunity. I don't think Martin and Nancy and Les, I think one more thing we need to say about that is that we got notice over the 4th of July holiday that we had an opportunity to apply for a grant. And we found out on the 7th or 8th, and it was due the 11th. And because everybody was out of pocket, Nancy and Les jumped in there, and they really worked as a team to make that happen. And I just think that it's important for us to share that because of that, Genesis, one of our high schools that have our most at-risk students for getting that diploma, is going to benefit. And I thought that was important to share. And I wanted to thank them and say thank you very much for doing that. Yeah. Quad C, a year ago, you gave us the opportunity to put a cohort together. And we felt that September would be a great time to provide annual updates on how that program is moving forward. And a little explanation of what that is: it's an initiative where students are encouraged to focus on college, careers, citizenship as a cohort as they move forward. Under the leadership of Dr. Selena Estrada Thomas and Lila Oliveras, their two workers, as we call them, the doers, Tammy Underwood and Bridget Cornelius, who we need to recognize as well last year, that worked through this and is now our principal at Bluebonnet, as well as Kelly Lopez, Martin Conradi before that, have really worked hard to move this program in a direction that I think tonight you're going to have the opportunity to see that it's all about kids. And so Dr. Thomas and Ms. Oliveras have chosen to have the doers instead of them present. So we're going to ask that Tammy Underwood and Kelly Lopez come forward, and I will return at the end in case you do have questions or comments from the information we're sharing tonight.
Probably not that much taller than Carter, so so bear with me. If you can't see me, maybe you can hear me. Thank you. Thank you for giving us the opportunity to meet with you tonight. We're very excited about this program. We've seen a lot of excitement and progress and struggle, but that's necessary for students to be able to succeed, because now they know what they need to improve on. So as we talk through this PowerPoint, we're going to talk about the program benefits. We're also going to share with you some data where we're going to compare the Quad C students with the pre-AP students who are not Quad C, and as well as all student populations. We're going to look at semester grades to show you how they're comparing in the classroom, and then we're going to end up with the program impact and goals and initiatives and benefits. So as Ms. Pollard introduced, this is a program that is a college prep program, and it allows these students to take pre-AP, AP, and ACC dual credit courses while in high school. As they move on through the 4 years of the program, they can achieve up to 36 college hours, which for parents means that they're going to save some thousands of dollars because they'll be able to take care of these hours during school for free. A very special part of this program is that they're part of a cohort. They're with a group of teachers and their peers that they travel together in their classes, and allows them to develop a collaborative nature, a network, a safety net as they move on to rigorous classes that maybe they haven't had the opportunity to participate in before. They learn about servant leadership as they participate in community service, and they get the chance to visit community colleges and four-year universities. So as they go through this Quad C program, we have put together a very structured and rigorous 4-year plan. A lot of these kids in 8th grade might have taken Algebra 1, but probably for the most part have not. So as they start the program, they are introduced to 3, possibly 4 pre-AP courses. Along with that, we have a Quad C College Readiness Study Skills class that helps allow for college prep, to allow for practical writing, allow for maybe just study time, because they are at the beginning of the year overwhelmed by just the amount of time and preparation that is needed to be a pre-AP student. So in their 9th grade year, They take English 1 pre-AP, either algebra or geometry pre-AP, depending on what they took in 8th grade. Bio pre-AP, World Geo pre-AP. They take a foreign language. Some may have taken a Spanish 1. If they have, they'll move on to Spanish 2. PE, their study skills college readiness practical writing class, and health, which we are pushing for them to take over the summer, because as we look through the 4-year plan, you'll notice that their schedules and their summers are quite packed. And so that leaves not very much little wiggle room to get through some of the electives. So in their 10th grade, they will move on to Pre-AP English 2, Geometry Pre-AP or Algebra 2 Pre-AP, Pre-AP Chemistry, Pre-AP World History, their 2nd or their 3rd. Some may move on to Spanish AP Language. They take another elective. They'll take their 2nd Quad C College Readiness and Social Skills class. And then in the summer, after their 10th grade year, provided that they are college ready, they will now start taking their ACC courses with Comm Apps and Fine Arts. Their 11th grade year, they will, during the school year, take dual credit with ACC Comp 1 and Comp 2, as well as U.S. History 1 and 2. They will move on in their math course with Pre-AP Algebra 2 or Pre-Cal, Pre-AP, Physics Pre-AP, their 3rd language or another elective if they have fulfilled their load requirements, their necessary electives per their graduation plan, their research and technical writing with Quad C social skills, ACC Intro to Sociology and ACC Text Government, then comes in the summer after the junior year. So from the 10th grade on, their summers are ours. In their senior year, as they culminate to the final year, they will take American Lit and Brit Lit. They will take their Pre-AP Pre-Cal or the 4th Math, which could be AP Stats, AP Calc, or another 4th year that fulfills that requirement. AP Environmental Science, ACC Macro, U.S. Government, another elective. They will be involved in a service learning or a senior project, and of course their last Quad C Independent Study English class.
So I'm going to jump up and talk a little bit about some of the benefits of Quad C. I will say that joining Bastrop ISD for the first time this year, I was really excited to be a part of Quad C. I think it's an amazing program that I'm happy to be a part of. So we actually solicited information from the students and what they thought some of the benefits of Quad C were, and they are in direct correlation with the way the system was set up. And one of the main things is friendship. They're able to develop friendships within their cohorts to provide support to each other academically. They get to work on improving their reading, writing, and speaking skills. Getting those 36 college hours for free is a big deal to them. Collaborating and dealing with different personalities, of course, is a huge part of high school. But when you're working specifically within the same group of students in many of your classes, they have even more of a challenge to be able to do that and develop those friendships and through personalities. Working on organization and time management skills and increasing their motivation and confidence. A lot of these students, for the first time, they're really seeing college as a possibility. Many of them are first-generation college-bound students, and so it's very exciting to watch. Some of the positive initiatives, again, talking to our students and looking at the way Quad C was developed, is we're looking at growing those numbers. This past year, we had a 10th grade Quad C, and we've doubled that for the 9th graders this year. The 10th grade cohort this year will take the PSAT test, and we are actually bringing a gentleman into the classes to teach a PSAT prep class during their class time so that they can improve their scores. They are cohorted into the specific core classes so that they can prepare for those college readiness study skills so they can be ready for those ACC courses that they'll start taking very soon. Some of the unique college prep courses also include the PSAT, the AccuPlacer, and prepping for those. They're earning the college credit hours. We're going on a ropes course in October, and the kids are really excited about that. Do some team building and some relationship building. They have study groups and tutoring support, and as Mr. Corr mentioned earlier, they are getting the Chromebooks, so they're really excited about that. We're going to start talking about some EOC data.
The first few slides are going to be the core EOC, and we wanted to show you how the Quad C students are comparing in their test scores with not just the other pre-AP students, but with the general population as well. So at BHS in biology, we scored higher than the all population. We're still a little behind with our bio, and we're okay. We're working with that. In our algebra, there is no pre-AP Algebra 1 at the campuses, so that's why there is no data there. But in comparison with Quad C, we're over 100 points above all students in Algebra 1. In reading, we are behind. We have some work to do with our reading and our writing. Our Quad C kiddos are lacking a little bit behind with the all students and in relation to the regular pre-AP, and we're making we're doing interventions and making strides to close those gaps. And then in writing, we are above the scores with the all population, and we're slightly behind with the pre-AP core. With geometry, I just want to note that this is a very handful of kids, so the data, I'm not say we manipulate the data, but the data is the data. So with the small handful of Quad C students that are in pre-AP geometry, they scored an average of 4408, which is slightly above the normal pre-AP classes and above the all population. So in order to, so we also wanted to compare the MET standard and the percent advanced with Quad C, pre-AP, and the all scores. So this chart just shows an overall of the overall data and how we're looking. So as you review the data, you'll notice that the Quad C students are, in all subjects, are above the all population, and they're pretty close either to a 5 or 6 point differential between the pre-AP. We acknowledge and we know that we have some work to do with the English 1 reading. We're 18 points behind with the pre-AP and English 1 reading, and we have some strides to make with the bio with the percent advanced. We're 15 points back, and we're working with our teachers to look at the curriculum and their instructional delivery. The next few slides will show you the classroom and how the Quad C is making strides to help these kids as they perform in the classroom. So these are semester averages that compare pre-AP students to the Quad C students. As you look over the data, you'll notice that we are right at or slightly above the scores in bio, English, World Geo, Algebra, and Geometry pre-AP. Semester 2 is a similar story. We're slightly above or below in all the core subjects. So what's important to know about this is, again, these are students that for the most part have not been in any honors or advanced courses. And suddenly their freshman year, they're now enrolled in 3 to 4, and they're still making great strides and keeping pace with pre-AP students.
And then, thank you, as we move to Cedar Creek, the students represented in green are geometry students. 100% of them passed the math EOC for geometry. And again, just to make a note, there is no pre-AP class for the Algebra 1, so we were really thrilled to see how well our students did with math. This just shows the average scale score and how the students scored. It's another representation. Our Quad C students did actually outscore our pre-AP and our overall students in geometry as well as Algebra 1. So we were very proud of their math scores. As far as students scoring level 3, which is the advanced level, Quad C students again outperformed our pre-AP students. Looking at the English scores for writing, pre-AP students outscored our Quad C students very marginally and in both reading and writing, but again, the scores were very comparable. As far as the average scale score goes, again, the same thing, looking at the 1875 as the passing rate. So that's where they stood with that. Pre-AP outscored Quad C quite a bit better in writing. We know that we have work to do, and we are working on interventions with our Quad C students, specifically in writing as well. As far as the advanced level, the pre-AP students did do better than our Quad C students. None of our Quad C students did score advance on the writing portion of the EOC, but again, we are working on interventions for that. For biology, 100% of our students, both Quad C and pre-AP, met standard. And the average scale score for the pre-AP students was a little bit higher than our biology students for Quad C. Again, they did outscore our overall student population for biology. And then the advanced level, 14% of our Quad C student did meet the level 3 advanced level for the biology STAR EOC. As far as world geography goes, 100% of our students met standard in Quad C, so we were very proud of that. And as far as the average scale score, it was slightly lower than the pre-AP students. Still being exposed to those pre-AP classes, it's just slightly lower on the average scale score. And then 19% of our Quad C students did score the advanced level on the STAR EOC for world geography. Stepping into the classroom, comparing, again, the Quad C students are taking those pre-AP classes, so comparing them to how our other students did in the pre-AP classes. Quad C, being exposed to that, did considerably well in math. And that just kind of gives you a little bit of indicator of how our students did the first semester. And then the second semester, there was a lot of improvement. So there, it goes back and forth. These students here are sophomores now. We're still working with them. They're getting used to being in those pre-AP classes, and they're doing quite well.
These are just some pictures of our Quad C kiddos and, I shouldn't say kiddos, sorry, students, and our teachers. So Ms. Underwood's just going to flash through those
I am going to go quickly.
While you're going through the pictures, I think it bears noting that whether they're just slightly below or certainly the areas where they're above, I think we need to remind everybody in the room that typically these kids that come into Quad C were not college going kids. They were not thinking about going to college. It's right. Much like you see the kids in what nationally is known as the AVID program. We're taking kids who weren't necessarily at risk of dropping out, but they weren't necessarily heading towards college either. So whether they're slightly below or certainly where they're above, and even in those areas where we still need to come up in writing, I think it's still very significant, and I think that there's been great work been done with the students, and you can see that they are very motivated and doing very well. So my hat's off to both high schools. Y'all doing a great job with a program that means a lot to this district and means a lot to me personally. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm going. We're just so excited to show y'all pictures of our students.
Can I ask a question while you're done through the pictures?
Please.
Okay. When does the awareness start for Quad C, and who's eligible, and how do they get chosen to get into the program? And tell me a little bit about that. And I mean, is it available for anybody, or is it just a small group that actually participates right now?
I can answer that. As in 8th grade, we work at both middle schools to expose all of the students for the opportunity to apply. We actually have an application which involves some written work and some other things that they turn in. We can provide that to you. That's an application packet. And then all those are turned in to both Mr. Hollamack and Ms. Kinsey. And then the ladies here under the supervision of the principals look through those applications, and we interview all of them. So every kid that applies sits in front of an interview, and the interview consists of the middle school principal and the associate principal from the high school, and then the principal if available, and others if necessary. Teacher recommendations, it's very similar to an AVID program, and then they ask and interview and score. We actually have a rubric, and then from that rubric we choose the slots that kids are picked to move up and join the Quad C program at the 9th grade level.
Okay. And if there's a student that comes in from another district in 10th or 11th grade and they want to participate, is there ability to bring them in, or is it kind of like you start?
That's a very good question. There's some safety measures that you have without pulling kids. It's almost like a teen leadership class, if you're familiar with that, where they create the safety and the ability to trust one another in that program. At this time, we're not accepting students as they come in from other districts unless it's in the 9th grade year. And we're very open to walking through that and working through that if as we do that. But there is that cohort, and I have been in those classes, encourage you to go to those classes. When you go watch that cohort, you would be amazed at the security they have from knowing the group they're working with, and that trust factor where if they ask us a question that has appeared to be stupid, it's not received as that. If they interact, that the security of the peers around them that they have built a relational capacity with, there is an amazing cohort collaboration that this group has really developed. And that's the purpose, is to keep them focused and not lose track in high school so that we don't lose them.
That was my last question, is what percentage of students start and finish in that cohort?
I'm going to let Ms. Oliveras and I'm going to let Ms. Dr. Estrada Thomas speak to that because I can't exactly remember the numbers.
Okay.
Go ahead. Sure. Okay, so we started with a group of 25 last year, and of those 25, we have 23 remaining with us at Cedar Creek High School. When the kiddos leave in terms of mobility, if they ever, like last year, we lost one partway through the school year, so we would have had 3, but then she came back to us, and one of the drawbacks for her was the Quad C program. So, you know, we try very much to encourage them. I think even between campuses, if they move between campuses, we've made those calls of, okay, this is a Quad C student, and so, you know, they're able to enroll them over at sister school in that program. So far, just 2 at the Creek.
Kelly, if you'll speak to that, because I know we lost a couple this week, and not so much because they couldn't hang with the program. Families literally moved out of the area.
That's what I was wondering.
We started at 27, and we're down to 24. 2 moved, and 1, because of her long-term goals and scholarship opportunities, the schedule was a little too rigid for her to meet those expectations, so she voluntarily withdrew from the program.
And how many years has it been going so far?
This is the second
This
year.
is the second.
Start of the second year.
It's our second cohort numbers this year, so the board will know.
Yes, we doubled our cohort. Thanks to the work that you guys have done to really help us staff the kids with teachers, because they have these extra classes. So we are now at 56 on the freshman group, so that's 2 cohorts on our side.
And we're at 37 at BHS.
Awesome.
Which is 2 sections of it, yeah.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, ladies.
Thank you, ladies. I've got a question for Janie.
Yes, sir.
Let me set the stage for this question real quick.
Oh, good. I'm ready. Maybe we should turn the light on so I can see your facial expressions while you ask me.
You don't want to do that. I commend the district for everything that they're doing to get students college ready, and this is an excellent program to get more focused towards that goal, okay? Getting our students college ready is half of the issue, though, okay? Over the course of the last 20 years, our country has seen economic improvement in productivity and gross domestic product without increasing employment, okay? Employment's been fairly stagnant, all right? As a matter of fact, we have a lower percentage of employed, our population, we've got a smaller percentage of employed people in our population today than we've ever had since 1948. That was in the Financial Times yesterday. So we got a lot of people that aren't employed. Part of the problem is that we're sending a lot of kids and getting a lot of kids sent to college, okay? And they aren't focusing upon careers and jobs that are available. And subsequently, they end up graduating for college with a huge student loan debt, okay? And a degree which no employer wants to hire them for. And so they end up taking jobs that high school graduates would typically have, because now they have a degree and they beat out the high school graduate at a rate that keeps them pretty close to poverty, okay, trying to pay off their student debt, all right, which is an unforgiving debt. It lasts for life. They have to pay it off. So my question to you is, what are we doing as a district to help guide these kids towards careers which, when they get out of college, are employable careers, where they can earn you know, there's a debate going on in this country, is the cost of college worth the effort, okay? And it stems from the fact that we got so many kids graduating with degrees that employers don't want to hire, okay? So what are we doing trying to assess what jobs are out there and guide our students towards those types of jobs, as opposed to getting a basket weaving career, you know, that nobody wants to buy? What are we doing?
At this time, since Les Hudson has become the Director of Career and Tech full-time as of last year, he has been putting together pathways that I would be very willing to let him come up and share those pathways with you if we would like to do that or provide that to you. He has a better presence than I do, so I'm sure that it would come across a little bit more dynamic. But in addition to the different pathways that he is opening up, where they're leaving the district with certifications, not just with high school diplomas. So if they choose to move into the community and begin to work, they have certifications and they're employable, or if they choose to go to college, they can choose to use those certifications as well. The other thing, as we move forward with our new graduation plan, we have 5 different endorsements that we are looking at to be able, with the supervision of not only Nancy Roll, the 2 high school principals, Les, I mean, there's a whole group of us, that we will make sure those endorsements do the same as well. We know that every kid is not going in any district to choose to go to college, and so our goal is to prepare them so that they can support themselves as they attend college or choose to have a career. And I know Les has several things that he's been doing with people in the community and stakeholders to make this happen, and we are moving in that direction under Mr. Murray's encouragement and leadership. Because
well, what I suggest is, and you know, I don't want to push John's question off, but I mean, just as we had with John tonight with technology, and as we had in the past with other program reports, in lieu of these management oversight workshops that we were going to do instead of having extra meetings, that we come forth and let Les do a program update for us on career and technology, because there are a lot of new things going on, and they tie in very closely with HB 5, with the House Bill 5, with the endorsements and things of that nature. It's a very good question. I just don't want to gloss over it. I want to give it due attention.
I think specifics is what I'd prefer to give to you instead of generalities, and we could do that. I think we could go ahead and move forward with the presentation from Les, but I think in January or February, when we get all of the solid answers about House Bill 5, we could come back and show the direction that we go as we plan for the 14-15 school year as well.
Okay.
Thanks.
Thank you.
David, you have a question?
No. I did, but I'm going to.
All right. Thanks, Janie.
Thank you for the presentation. That was, again, very informative. Thanks, Tammy, Callie, it was great. Now we're going to move on to the consent agenda. If no one wants to pull anything, I will entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the consent agenda as presented. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. We'll move on to information items. You probably will be receiving an email from Nancy here in the next week or so. We're going to try to schedule a team building for the board sometime either in October or the first part of November. Try to get it done before Thanksgiving. We haven't done it in a while. It's, we got, I believe, some folks needing a few hours. So that's going to be 3 hours. So Steve's going to get, choose a facilitator to his liking, and we're going to do a team building. You have any ideas on dates? Kind of let Nancy throw some out there, and then we'll go from there. I suggested we have it on a Saturday afternoon because of everybody's weekly schedules. There's so many things going on. It's very hard to do this during the week. So that'll be my suggestion. So Nancy, you're going to throw out a few dates for us, and if any of the board members have any ideas, they can reply back to Nancy. We'll go from there.
Make a motion, we adjourn.
Second.
We're going to adjourn. I just want to thank John and for a very informative presentation. You don't realize how much you guys do that ties back into the academics of the district, and I think it's very important. Most of the people probably see as the IT guy, but there's really a huge purpose that you play as far as the academic side. I also want to thank the ladies for what y'all did. That was a really a good presentation, and also again straight back into academics, which, as we see with the results, are paying off. I don't know if we've said it publicly. We have at a few public functions. I've heard it at the Chamber of Commerce. I've also heard it at Commissioner's Court. But everybody in the community is recognizing the performance, the academic performance of the district, and not only are they recognizing it, they're appreciating it a lot. So I wanted to say it publicly in the meeting of the talk of the town right now is the academic performance, and I don't want to leave Sandra out. Physically, we're very sound right now. So those are the two things, in my opinion, that the board hold very near and dear is academic performance and fiscal responsibility. Those are two things that we take a lot of pride in, and we're headed in a very good direction. So I just wanted to say that everybody plays a role in that. It's not just the campus administrators, it's not just the teachers, everybody plays a role in that. And importantly, our students play obviously a huge role. But we're heading in a great direction. I just wanted to say thank you on behalf of the board to everybody that's putting forth an effort in that. So thank you. I believe John's made a motion to adjourn. Thank you for coming. We look forward to seeing you guys in October.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.